Hi guys, and welcome to the second season of Thunderstorms called Downpour. This series is written by Stacey Holt. Artwork was provided and approved by Sisaat or Sisaat on Tumblr. I'll leave their link in the description box below, along with everyone that is collaborating within the series, which are Shane, who will be voicing Cat Noir and Adrian, Stacey Holt as Marinette, Sabine, and the narrator, and Christian will be voicing Master Fu. If you want to support the series, you can like, subscribe, and comment. Now, Chapter 12. Wait for Me. Ladybug zipped her way to Master Fu and explained everything, from start to finish, from the Akuma-shaped bruise to her finding out each other's identities. She told him about finding out Hawkmoth's identity, and that it was Adrian's father. She broke down and cried several times, and he comforted her, though he told her that he was glad that she came to him.
You and Adrian have grown so much since I've given you both the Miraculous. I only gave you the rules of not knowing each other's identity in order to protect both of you. Although I think you've grown to trust one another, and I believe knowing the other person's identity will make you stronger now.
He smiled. You're not gonna take our Miraculous? She asked.
No, Marinette. You've done everything you thought was right, and so has Adrian.
He said comfortingly. Marinette wiped her eyes and smiled, grateful that he was so understanding.
Although, if Adrian does leave Paris, he won't be able to keep the Cat Miraculous. He knows that and is hurting. He understands that right now. He might have said some hurtful things to you right now, but he didn't mean them. The people we care for the most are the ones that hurt us the most, because we forgive them so easily because we love them. Just give him time.
He said, sighing. I know, Master Fu. I'm just scared, and I'm upset as well. I don't want him to leave either. I want him to stay. He's my partner, my best friend, and I love him, she said. Master Fu smiled and put his hand on hers.
Why not go tell him that?
He said. I don't think it would make a difference. His aunt and cousin live in London, Marinette sighed.
It wouldn't hurt to tell him though, would it?
He said. Marinette sighed and knew he was right. She stood up and transformed, thanking him and left, running across the rooftops looking for her partner. She looked for hours and hours, but the sun went down and still no sign of him. It was like the time she disappeared. He wouldn't disappear as she did, would he? She zipped her way up the Eiffel Tower, remembering the kiss they shared together. She sat down and huffed, wishing he would just magically appear, but knew he didn't want to be found. She saw Adrian's bodyguard's car driving toward the Agrest household, and her heart started thumping. Could he be inside the car? Would he be home in just a few minutes? Would she be that lucky? She swung herself toward his home and swung herself into his bedroom, awaiting in his darkened room. She heard footsteps coming toward the bedroom door, and it opened. There he was. She was about to step forward, ready to grab him into a tight hug, but saw that he was still processing his thoughts and remained quiet. She stood still, unsure if she should say anything and reveal that she was there or not. For some reason, her voice wouldn't come out.
Plague! Why did I believe her? Why did I really think there was even a slight chance that she could be right?
He yelled, walking over to his bed and collapsing onto it. Plague flew over and saw her standing there and saw Ladybug almost in tears and was about to say something, but Ladybug shook her head. Plague frowned and nodded, knowing he shouldn't get involved.
This is such nonsense. Why did she fill my head with such nonsense? I trusted her and they were all lies.
He cried in the pillow. I didn't think they were, she quietly whispered, making him quickly turn his head.
Ladybug?
He said, surprised to see her there. I didn't mean to tell you things that weren't true, Adrian. I just wanted to make you feel better, she said, trying to keep herself together.
I'm sorry. I didn't know you were there,
he said, looking down at his feet. Don't apologize. You're only apologizing because I heard you. You're upset because you're going to have to move, right? You're not really mad or upset with me, she said, walking to him, sitting on the bed next to him.
No, I'm not.
He sighed. I know you better than anyone else, you know? She smiled.
I know.
He smiled through the tears. She put her hands on his face and wiped them away and kissed him. He kissed her back and let the moment just soak in. Their lips parted and they sat there for a second. "What?" she asked.
Felix and my aunt are coming tomorrow for the court date.
He sighed.
Whatever the verdict is where I'm going.
He said, turning his eyes to the ground.
Though after that confession from my father, I doubt I'm staying here.
"Adrian," she said, putting her hand on his face and gently turning his head to meet hers. Her bluebell eyes glistening in the moonlight reflected in his bright emerald eyes as she took in a breath as she collected her thoughts. "I love..."
Are you sure you want to say that?
He smiled. "Huh?" she asked, a little surprised.
You can't take it back once you say it, milady. You'll just have to wait for me until I come back, you know.
He smiled, pushing the bangs out of her eyes as a light blush spread across her cheeks. "Wait for you?"
Yeah. Will you wait for me? It's only 2 years. You think you can handle Paris without me until then?
He smiled. Her eyes began to water and nodded, pulling him into a tight hug. He smiled and hugged her back. "I have to take Plague, but no one will have your Miraculous. No one will replace you. I will guarantee you that. You will always be my kitty. You are my only true partner, Cat Noir," she said, leaning out, tears still streaming down her face.
Come on, LB. I think we've both done enough crying.
He smiled, wiping her tears away. She watched as the moonlight from his window bounced off of his blonde curls, almost entrancing. "Adrian?" She started again.
Yes, Bugaboo?
He smiled, knowing exactly what she was going to say. You're such a dork," she teased.
Wait, what?
He asked, seeing her laugh as he was caught off guard. "I'm just teasing," she smiled. "I love you," she said, kissing his cheek. His face turned the shade of her mask and he was surprised that she didn't comment on it, but it could have been the same reason for her.
I love you too, princess. Always have and always will.
He smiled, pulling her into another hug. 2 years isn't that long," she said in a sigh.
Not when I can come visit on holidays and your birthday and...
He smiled. Okay, she laughed. "I get it."
Maybe your parents will adopt me.
Adrian smirked. "Adopt you?" Ladybug laughed.
Yeah, I'm pretty much family already.
He laughed. "I don't know, they didn't really like your civilian self. Catboy, though? They love you 100%, she teased.
Yeah, what was up with that anyways?
He asked, a little hurt. No idea, she giggled. They laughed and talked throughout the night, not caring what day it was, or if they had school the next day. They didn't care what time it was, or what time they fell asleep. They just enjoyed the other's company, for the next day and the last day they would spend with each other. Thank you so much for watching. The next chapter will be out soon. If you haven't already, you can check out my other series such as The Butterfly That Brought Us Together, A Monstrous Night, Melting, Thunderstorms Season 1 if you haven't seen it, or if you would like to rewatch it. Or you can check out my Christmas special called A Merry Cat Christmas Special, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys!